preach basically on the same thing as I did in the morning concerning Psalm 23. And I hope that you can fully grasp, get a hold of, and let it even get a hold of you to say, the Lord is my shepherd. That you have that personal connection and confidence to not just to look to him, but indeed to cast your care upon him and to wait upon him, realizing he can and will renew our strength. As we do look to him and depend upon him, it says, we will mount up with wings as eagles. We shall run and not be weary, and walk and not faint. You know, the Lord being a shepherd means we're sheep. Sheep are a very dependent animal. Without their shepherd, they surely would perish. But the good shepherd who laid down his life for his sheep guarantees that his sheep will what? Never perish. And so we need to live a life dependent on the Lord. Turn to John 15. I didn't intend to use this, but the Lord, I believe, has directed me here. Jesus said, I am the true vine. There's a lot of sources, a lot of things to connect to. And some would say you've got to connect to your inner self and connect with other spirits and this and that. But he's the true vine, the reliable, the steady, the solid. And my Father is the husbandman. Note this, every branch in me. We're comparing this to the shepherd with his sheep. Every branch in me that beareth not fruit, he taketh away, and every branch that beareth fruit, he purgeth it, that it may bring forth more fruit. Now, here, we're not likened to sheep, but likened unto what? Branches, even on a tree. And if you cut a branch off a tree, if the branch is not connected to the tree, what happens to it? It withers and it dies. And now ye are clean through the word which I have spoken unto you. Abide in me, and I in you. That's again like the shepherd and his sheep, and the sheep and his shepherd. Jesus said, my sheep, and we say my shepherd. That possession, that connection. Abide in me, and I in you. As a branch cannot bear fruit of itself, except it abide in the vine, no more can ye, except ye abide in me. And fruit is life. It's life-giving, life-bringing, where we would even multiply, sharing the gospel. But note that I am the vine, ye are the branches. Some people kind of have it backwards, and they try to literally use the Lord to their own end. They try to make the Lord one of the tools in their toolbox that they can accomplish their own purpose. But always remember this. We are the called according to his purpose. His purpose. You know, the fact that you and I are alive and breathing and in this place tonight, I believe it is all for his purpose. And that we would indeed shine his light. But verse 5 again, I am the vine, ye are the branches. He that abideth in me and I in him. It's like a sheep that is sticking right by the shepherd, right in the sound of his voice, responding to his voice, following the shepherd. He will be well protected and provided for. It says, but he that abideth in me and I in him, the same bringeth forth much fruit. For without me, here's what I want to bring you to tonight, primarily. Without me, ye can do nothing. That's what Proverbs 3, I preached on it different times. Trust in the Lord with all thine heart. That means you can't trust your own feelings. You can't trust your intelligence. You can't trust what Dr. So-and-so said. You got to trust only in what Jesus said. We are one of his sheep, and he said, my sheep hear my voice, and I know them, and they follow me. But you should have that underlined, or at least highlighted. Without me, ye can do nothing. It says, if we abide in me for much fruit, without me, ye can do nothing. And we ought to live life not independent, but dependent. Trust in the Lord with all thine heart. Lean not unto thine own understanding. A sheep has to always be conscious of the shepherd. How is he conscious of him? He hears his voice. The shepherd wants him to be close. In all thy ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct thy path. And what's it say in Psalm 23? He leadeth me in the path of righteousness. The right path, the best path. That'll be for my good and also for his ultimate glory. A man abide in me and I in him, or if a man abide not in me, he is cast forth as a branch and is withered, and men gather them and cast them into the fire, and they are burned. That means we're useless to God if we're not connected. We need to live connected. We need to live dependent, trusting totally in him. Look with me in John chapter 8, if you would. John 8 and verse, what do I want? 40, I believe. But you seek to kill me, a man that hath told you the truth, which I have heard of God. This did not Abraham. Didn't he do the same thing? Jesus is speaking here. Now look in verses 43 to 47. Why do you not understand my speech, even because you cannot hear my word? What did he say about his true sheep? They hear his voice. They respond to it. It's meaningful to them. It blesses them, encourages them. But he said, you cannot hear my words. Ye are of, or why do ye not understand my speech? Why doesn't it connect with you? Why doesn't it make sense to you? It says, even because ye cannot hear my word. Ye are of your father the devil, and the lust of your father ye will do. He was a murderer from the beginning, and abode not in the truth, because there is no truth in him. When he speaketh a lie, he speaketh of his own, for he is a liar and the father of it. And because I tell you the truth, ye believe not, or believe me not. He said, this group, they are not his sheep. His voice doesn't relate to them. Again, we'll be going to John 10, but what did he say? My sheep hear my voice. And I think there can't be anything sweeter than to hear Jesus say, let not your heart be troubled. Let not your heart be troubled. He speaks to his sheep. He said, don't worry, I can handle the wolf, I can handle the lion, I can handle the bear. I will take care of you. You will never perish. And he said, because I live, what will happen? You shall live also. Our security is to be in him. Look in John 10, 4 and 5. And when he putteth forth his own sheep. Now, I said this to you. Once you're saved, it's not your life to do what you want, when you want, and how you want. And we really are to acknowledge him. But it says, regarding being his own sheep, ye are not your own. You don't have rights to your life anymore. You don't have rights to do just what you feel good to do, the way that seemeth right. Which many would infer that's what you're supposed to do in so-called Christian circles. And it's blasphemy the way they talk about Jesus and seek to use him for their gain and their end.